announcements. Barb, would you call the roll, please?
Director Shelton?
Here.
Director Rice?
Here.
Vice President Beckett?
Here.
President Walker?
Here.
And Director Navarro Jr. is excused.
And we will be moving immediately to executive session. Do I hear a motion to move to executive session?
I move that we move to executive session in the professional library for the purpose of
Personnel conversation.
for 45 minutes?
45 minutes. Yes.
Okay.
Do I hear a
Second.
Moved and seconded to move to executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. We will excuse to executive session. I am recused from executive session today, so I will wait patiently for you. Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to the April 21st meeting of the Yakima School Board. A few announcements to get us started. We offer Spanish interpretation services is Jorge here tonight? Yes, it's Jorge. With Language Connection, if you need translation assistance in person, please check with Jorge for a device. And Jorge, please translate that information.
Sí, si alguien necesita de la ayuda de un intérprete, aquí en esta ocasión tengo los radios y estoy disponible para hacerlo. Gracias.
Gracias por tu ayuda. If you wish to make a public comment, there are two options available for you. The first option is for commenting on agenda items only. And the second option, which occurs later in the meeting, is for all other topics. In order to speak tonight, you need to sign two forms, the sign-in form and a guidelines form. We do provide live streaming for this meeting. The link can be found on the webpage under Board of Directors. If you are interested in watching past meetings, you may find them on our webpage's YSD YouTube channel. Barb, would you call the roll, please?
Director Shelton?
Here.
Director Rice?
Here.
Director Navarro Jr.?
Here.
Vice President Beckett?
Here.
President Walker?
Here. And would you all rise and join me in the flag salute? Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the character word of the month is innovative, promoting inventive and original thinking to solve problems and improve situations. En español, innovador, promoviendo el pensamiento inventivo y original para resolver problemas y mejorar situaciones. Pardon my pronunciation.
Today, the schools of the Yakima School District rest on the ancestral lands of the 14 confederated tribes and bands of the Yakima Nation.
Hoy las escuelas del Distrito Escolar de Yakima descansan en las tierras ancestrales de las 14 tribus y bandas confederadas de la nación Yakima.
The people of the Yakima Nation inhabited more than 12 million acres.
La gente de la nación Yakima habitó más de 10 billones de acres.
Across Adams, Benton, Chelan, Douglas, Franklin, Grant, Kittitas, Klickitat, and Yakima counties.
En los condados de Adams, Benton, Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Franklin, Kittitas, Klickitat, y Yakima.
Today we honor those native peoples who are tied to the land through history, legends, and culture.
Hoy honramos a estos pueblos originales que están vinculados en la tierra a través de historias, leyendas y culturas.
We acknowledge the descendants who live in the world today.
Reconocemos a sus descendientes que viven en el mundo de hoy.
We thank the caretakers of this land who have lived here and continue to live here since time immemorial.
Agradezcamos a los guardianes de la tierra quienes han vivido aquí y continúan viviendo aquí desde tiempos inmemoriales.
An acknowledgement is a simple, powerful way to show respect.
Un reconocimiento es una manera simple y poderosa de mostrar respeto.
And a step toward correcting the stories and practices that erase Indigenous peoples' history and culture.
Y un paso hacia la corrección de las historias y prácticas que borran la historia y la cultura de los pueblos indígenas.
It also honors the truth.
También honra la verdad.
As a school district, we will continue to build upon our relations with the Yakima Nation.
Como distrito escolar, continuaremos fortaleciendo nuestras relaciones con la nación Yakima.
Thank you, students. At times in these meetings, we mourn the passing of former school district employees or students. This evening, we're remembering Guadalupe S. Richardson, who was a longtime teacher in the district. Please join me in a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you. If you would like to read her full obituary, it's available on the webpage, on the board documents. Tonight, we're pleased to honor a number of students. We have some students from winter sports, and we have some students with some other honors as well. So we'll begin with WIAA state team and individual awards.
Yes, President Walker, we have a considerable number here this evening. We'll begin with WIA 4A state championships. The Board of Directors congratulates the following student athletes for their outstanding contributions during the winter sports season. We recognize their remarkable achievement of placing 8th or better at state and/or receiving a student athlete award. Your dedication, hard work, and sportsmanship exemplify both your talent and your unwavering dedication. To begin with, we have 2 teams from Davis High School. Go Pirates. Girls wrestling, coached by Eric Rotundo. Honey Lopez, 5th place. Sawyer Newman, 6th place. Gianna Sowers, 8th place. And Rinalda Reina Gonzalez, 8th place. If any of them are here, okay.
Yeah, and I neglected to say, if you're here, we'd like you to come up and kind of circle by the table. We'd like to shake your hand.
And then, congratulations. Well done.
Congratulations.
For Davis girls basketball, coached by Keel White, 1st place team, state champions, as I understand this. That's how that works, isn't that right? That seems like that's what that is. Kind of a big deal. 1st place team in Nevaeh Parish, Tia Wheeler, Zaylee Dimmer, Avery Brandt, Ella Craig, Cheyenne Hull, Sophia James Tias, Paige Gasling, Aya Jones, Jacoby Kobe Johnson, Isaac Garcia, and Iona Perez. If any of them are here, please come on up.
It's Coach Wells.
Hey, Coach. Back to back.
Congratulations. I have it. Congratulations. Nice job.
Next on the list, we have 4 different groups from Eisenhower High School. Go Cadets. First up, boys swim and dive, coached by Andrea Redman. Placing both 2nd in 50-yard backstroke adaptive and 8th in 50-yard freestyle adaptive we have Charlie Hodge. Nice work.
Congratulations.
We have the girls bowling team coached by Chad Quisnell. First off, we have Cecilia C.C. Pugh, third place individual and fifth place as a team. And then the rest, fifth place as a team, Nikili Tabian, Summer Tate, Haley Littler, Jadelyn Speltz, and Fabiola Morales. If any of them are here. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Nice work. Way to go. Nice work.
Math and bowling, wow.
Girls wrestling, coached by Alberto Cardenas, Andrea Ramirez, sixth place, Brianna Montez de Oca Rodriguez, seventh place, and Edith Benitez, seventh place. Are any of them present tonight? Nice work.
Congratulations.
Boys wrestling, coached by Jared Doby, Jarek Doby, second place, Antonio Castillo, fifth place, and Rivaldo Lopez Contreras, seventh place. Can we do the photo op thing after this? Okay, excellent. Congratulations. Nice work. Nice work. We'll take just a couple minute break here for our student athletes. If you would like to do the photo op with your teammates or with your coach in front of the backdrop. Family too. You're right, Martha. We'll allow family too. If you would like to have a photo op, we'll break for just a few minutes. You tell me what to do. I'm fine. Barb, you tell me what to do. Okay, so I'm going to tell them all to just stay right there and come back in a few minutes. Is that fair? Thank you, Barb. Congratulations again to all of our student athletes from WIAA 4A state championships. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have athletes and coaches who are Columbia Basin Big Nine League All-Conference athletes.
Thank you, President Walker. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to continue recognizing our outstanding Yakima School District athletes. So the Board of Directors proudly acknowledges the exceptional achievements of athletes in the Columbia Basin Big Nine All-Conference. Excuse me. These athletes are the top-ranked athletes in the Big Nine Conference. We commend these athletes for their commitment to excellence and their positive representation of our schools and community. So first, from Davis High School, we have the boys swim and dive all-league recognition, coached by Carl Scott. Is Coach here today? No? Okay, so we'll go ahead and continue. On bowling, we do have recognition, all-league recognition for the bowling team, coached by Stacy Huntamer. Nope, okay. How about an applause for those two teams? All right. Wrestling girls all league, coached by Eric Rotundo. So first team, Reina Gonzalez, Gianna Sowers, Sawyer Newman, first team.
Did you miss Josh Whitney and everybody?
Perhaps, maybe
Is it
I missed
Josh?
that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Congratulations. Second team is Honey Lopez. All conference honorable mention, Mia Solano Benitez. And good sports team, Honey Lopez. How about an applause for the girls wrestling all league? And then all conference sportsmanship team, Joshua Whitney. For Davis High School Wrestling Boys All League, coached by Chad Huffstatter. Is coach here today? Okay. And second team, Nathaniel Ornelas, Joshua Laws, Joaquin Santoy. Can you come forward? Yes, good job. And good sport team, Tuo Grover. Nope, okay. How about an applause for the good team, good sport team. Next from Davis High School, from the back-to-back, can you believe that, back-to-back state championships. Girls basketball coached by Coach White. All right. So, Coach, if you want to come forward again, if he's still here, and I'm going to call out all the team members. First team, Cheyenne Hall, Isa Garcia, Kobe Johnson. Second team, Nevaeh Parrish. All conference honorable mention, Avery Brandt. Congratulations, good job. All conference defensive team, Cheyenne Hall, Nevaeh Parrish. All conference sportsmanship, Aona Perez, and player of the year, Cheyenne Hall. How about another applause for the Davis High School girls basketball team. Next is the Davis High School boys basketball. It's coached by Raul Alvarado. Making first team, DeAnthony Wiggins. Second team, Damian Pimentel. All conference honorable mention, David Vasquez. All conference defense team, DeAnthony Wiggins. All conference defense honorable mention, Marcus Smith. We got Marcus with us, right? All right. And all conference sportsmanship, Quentin Allen Greggs. Congratulations. Good job. Okay, Eisenhower High School. Swim and dive, all league recognition, coached by Andrea Redmond. Is Coach here? Yes, she is. All right. Congratulations. First team, Charlie Hodge, 50-yard backstroke adaptive. Good job. He's going to have to do another round because second team, Charlie Hodge, 50-yard freestyle adaptive. And all conference sportsmanship, Ramon Mendoza. Bowling, coached by Chad Quizno. Yes, how about an applause for Coach? Yes.
Only because you have to stand.
Congratulations. First team, and I apologize for mispronouncing this name, is Nakili Tabayunian. Thank you. Cecilia Ceci Pugh, first team. Second team, Jaden Congratulations. Second team is Jaden Speltz. All conference honorable mention, Summer Tate. Good job. And bowler of the year, Nikili Tabayunian. How about an applause for our bowling team from Eisenhower High School? Also from Eisenhower High School, Wrestling Girls All League, coached by Alberto Cardenas. First team, Andrea Ramirez, Edith Benitez. Second team, Eliza Gutierrez. All conference honorable mention, Enili Macedonio, Brianna Montes de Oca Rodriguez, Ceci Rosas. All conference honorable mention. How about an applause for that group of students? Good sport team, Andrea Ramirez. And wrestler of the year, upperweight, Edith Benitez. And wrestling boys all league, coached by Jared Doby. There's coach. First team, Alan Torres, Jarek Doby, Isaiah Garcia, Antonio Castillo. Second team, Alfonso Barajas, Frank Redfield. Congratulations. And Nate Peterson. Congratulations. Congratulations, coach. All conference honorable mention, Juan Oliveira Michael, Jamari Graham, Adalberto Navarro, Rivaldo Lopez Contreras. Good sports team is Frank Redfield. And from Eisenhower High School girls basketball, coached by Brian Cleat. All right. Second team, Mercedes Garza, excuse me. All conference honorable mention, Ruby O'Connor. All conference defense team, Ruby O'Connor. All conference defense honorable mention, Kiara Mullen and Mercedes Garza. All conference sportsmanship, Carolina Armejo. And last but not least is boys basketball, coached by Taylor Elmo. First team, Lucas Stevens. Second team, Jacob Gonzalez. And all conference sportsmanship, J.D. Hill. How about one more applause for all our student athletes representing the Yakima School District. Job well done. Make us proud.
Next up, we have 3 coaches of the year. Director Shelton.
Washington State Girls Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year. The Board of Directors extends its heartfelt congratulations to Coach Akil White for being named the Washington State Girls Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year. He needs applause. This prestigious honor was awarded at the All-State Games following a historic season where Coach Akil White guided the top-ranked Pirates to their second consecutive Class 4A state championships. Under his leadership, Davis High School basketball finished the season with an incredible 24-2 record, remaining completely unbeaten against all in-state competition. We applaud Coach Akil White's exceptional mentorship and his unwavering commitment to excellence on and off the court. You are awesome. Dr. Green?
Members of the board, I have something that I'd like to share with you. It's a letter from 14th Legislative District State Representative Deb Mangeras, and it states, "Dear Head Coach White and Superintendent Green, I'm honored to extend my warmest congratulations to the AC Davis High School girls basketball team for winning the 4A state championship. Earning a state title not only reflects your talent on the court, but also the hard work, teamwork, discipline, and determination of athletes and coaching staff. You have set a powerful example for your school and community and raised the bar of excellence for girls athletics. I have no doubt that this accomplishment is just one of the many successes ahead for you and the athletes. Please accept my heartfelt congratulations on this well-deserved victory. I look forward to seeing all that you achieve in the future. Kindly, Deb Mangeras." And I'd like to give this to Coach Akil. Coach White.
Okay, moving on to wrestling, our Wrestling Coach of the Year. The Board of Directors extends its heartfelt congratulations to Coach Jared Dobby for being named the Wrestling Boys Coach of the Year. This honor follows a historic season where Coach Jared Dobby led the Eisenhower Cadets to capture both the league and district titles. Under his exceptional leadership, the cadets demonstrated elite dominance on the mat, qualifying wrestlers in 10 weight classes and crowning 4 individual champions. Furthermore, Coach Jared Dobby guided the team to a program record 14 state qualifiers for the MAC Classic. We applaud Coach Jared Dobby for his unwavering commitment to excellence and for setting a new standard for Eisenhower wrestling. Assistant Coach of the Year. The Board of Directors would also like to recognize Assistant Coach of the Year, Ricardo Acevedo, for being named a CBBN Boys Wrestling Assistant Coach of the Year. This prestigious honor, voted on by the league coaches, recognizes Assistant Coach Acevedo's vital role in the Eisenhower Cadets' historic and record-breaking season. Working alongside Coach Jared Dobby, Assistant Coach Ricardo Acevedo was instrumental in guiding the team to both league and district titles. We applaud Assistant Coach Ricardo Acevedo for his expertise, leadership, and unwavering commitment to the success of Eisenhower's student athletes.
Thank you, Director Shelton. There are a few more awards to announce. This is the Big 9 Winter National Electrical Contractors Association and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers are proud to present the 21st annual recognition of these fine scholar athletes from 4 Big 9 schools. These 2 organizations are training electricians for the future. NECA IBEW encourages all high school students to explore with their high school counselors a career in the electrical construction industry, which provides salary levels that are above average and careers that last a lifetime. The following Yakima School District students were recognized for demonstrating superior balance in academics, athletics, and community involvement. So they're stars in all 3 of those categories. And the 2026 Winter Big 9 athletes are from Davis High School, Crystal Mendoza from bowling, and Jaime Barajas from wrestling. And representing Eisenhower High School are Mercedes Garza from basketball and Frank Redfield from wrestling.
In addition to our winter sports achievements, the Board of Directors extends its heartfelt congratulations to our exceptional career and technical student leaders. We proudly recognize the members of Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, or FCCLA, who earned gold and silver medals demonstrating elite mastery in career preparation and workforce readiness. Those students are Theron Clements, public policy advocate, who was awarded a silver; Courtney Switzer, chapter service project display, who was awarded a gold; and Montserrat Arias Garcia, chapter service project display, gold. Let's give those students a hand. Additionally, we celebrate our future health professionals, or HOSA, students for their impressive 5th and 7th place finishes, showcasing their dedication in the healthcare field. Your commitment to leadership, community service, and professional excellence exemplifies the very best of our student body and proves you are truly college and career ready. Those students are Melissa Silva Pacheco, medical assistant 5th place, and Georgia Bonds, home health aide 7th place. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
These are national awards
It doesn't say. They may be state.
It's national awards or state awards? State, okay.
Congratulations.
Thanks again to all the students and coaches who represented Yakima in their endeavors. We'll take a break, so if you would like to take a photo op in front of the wall over here, we'll take a few minutes. You can take a family photo there, or if you want to gather a team in front of there, we'll take a minute to take some pictures. Thank you. Thank you for coming, students and parents. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you wish. But next on our agenda, we have Director Omar Santoy reporting on partnerships and counseling.
Right. Thank you, President Walker. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Green, and Cabinet. My name is Omar Santoy, Executive Director of Student Services. Tonight, our team, comprised of Aaron Thomas, Director of Student Services, Sean Arminsky, Assistant Director of Student Services, and Gabe Stotts, Director of Career and Technical Education, or CTE. We will be sharing a report on our district partnerships and school counseling. To just break it down a little bit further, Assistant Director Orminsky will be sharing an update regarding partnerships with the faith community, various community agencies, and local service providers. Directors Thomas and Stotts will be providing the board information about the PLC work that's happening with our counselor group, highlighting processes that are driving our counseling program, things like evaluation of data, assessing needs, being standards aligned, and specifically for the secondary level, course planning and implementation. With that, I'd like to invite Sean Arminsky up to the podium. She can get us started.
Good evening. Today, more than 30 faith-based partners support schools across Yakima School District, expanding the ability to meet student needs beyond what schools can do alone. On March 14th, Yakima Bethel Service Day brought 208 student volunteers into 6 elementary schools to support painting, floor cleaning, window washing, dusting, and other building improvement projects that enhance student learning environments. Kyle Soptic coordinated the scope of the work, gathered supplies, partnered with union leaders to support this service day across multiple school sites. This is one example of how our faith-based partnerships continue to expand support for schools and students across the district. We partner with community agencies such as DCYF, DSHS, Salvation Army, and Catholic Charities. These partnerships help connect our families to housing supports, advocacy, and accessing basic resource needs. We also partner with service providers such as Comprehensive Mental Health, Yakima Farm Workers Clinic, and ESD 105. These providers deliver behavioral health, prevention, and intervention services. When families have access to these partners, students attend school more consistently, stay engaged in learning, and experience stronger connections at school. So, thank you for your time. I'm going to hand it over to Director Thomas.
Good evening. I get to talk to you about the most favorite thing that I think I do in this position, and that is work with the elementary school counselors. This is a group we have one counselor from each elementary school, so there's 13 counselors, and our job is to use the PLC process. And so a PLT is a team of the PLC process. So a PLC is a professional learning community. Our PLC would be the Yakima School District. A PLT is any team under that district. So I get the opportunity to work with these wonderful educators. And what we do is we take student social emotional learning data. It could be data that is class-based, or it could be our screener that we use for social emotional learning. And then we analyze that data, and then we look for needs and we check for gaps. And so then we align those things with the state standards for social emotional learning. And we think, how can we remedy these gaps that we're seeing in our district? So we look at that district view, and each counselor can look at the school view, but we as a group are looking at the district view to see what needs that our students have. And with that, we align it to the standards, and then we make a plan. And it's the Comprehensive School Counseling Program, or the CSCP is how you'll see it stated. But we update that every year, and what it does is it outlines the program for counseling and the interventions that students will get and what our focus is for elementary counselors. And so I get to facilitate that group and help them learn that PLC process, and we're doing continuous improvement all the time. And so it is a wonderful opportunity. And one of the photos that you see there is all the group working together to analyze data. We do a very comprehensive needs assessment to determine what direction our district needs to take to support our students. So that is what I'm reporting to you tonight. Do you have any questions about the work that we're doing?
I have one. Are the state standards that we use, are they still based on the American School Counselors Association national model?
They are.
Okay, thank you.
They are. Any other questions? All right, I will turn it over to Gabe.
All right, good evening, board members. Tonight I'm excited to share an update on our collaborative work with secondary counselors as we implement a comprehensive course planning system in SchoolLinks. This initiative directly supports our students meeting high school and beyond plan requirements while ensuring they're on track for graduation and career readiness. Throughout this year, we are in our developmental phase of this initiative. Our counseling teams and I are collaboratively developing a district-wide course planner that aligns to 24 credits. And this isn't really just about creating a digital tool. It's about ensuring every course in our catalog is properly tagged and sequenced so students can see clear pathways from their freshman year to graduation and beyond. We're working closely to verify that these are accurately categorized. So for example, English classes count towards English credits, math classes count as math credits. This is very important with our CTE statewide equivalencies, where we could be offering something like an AutoCAD course that cross credits into algebra. We still need to be able to mark that within the SchoolLinks platform, so it's still showing up in that student's graduation plan as they're reviewing their 24 credits. This level of detail ensures students and families have transparency about how each class contributes to their graduation requirements and future goals. Now, moving into 2026-27, we're going to move into our pilot phase with strategically selected groups across the district. We are going to plan on piloting with our incoming ninth graders from Lewis and Clark, ninth grade students that are exploring career pathways, students with IEP or 504s to verify accessibility and accommodation tracking, multilingual learners to ensure clarity across diverse language backgrounds, and students transferring between school districts to test mid-year transition scenarios. These diverse cohorts will test the course planner in real-world registration scenarios, providing us with invaluable feedback from different student populations and their needs. This pilot year allows us to refine the tool based on an actual user experience, identifying any gaps in course pathways, clarifying any confusing elements, and ensuring the system truly serves both our students and our counselors efficiently. We're committed to getting this right before full implementation, which is why the refinement year is essential. Now by 2027-28, OSPI is going to require students do their 4-year course planning in SchoolLinks, which is going to be the year that we launch this district-wide. At that point, every student will use this tool to select classes that align to their high school and beyond plan, creating an intentional roadmap that supports both graduation requirements and their post-secondary goals. This systematic approach helps students see the direct connection between the classes they take today and the careers that they're exploring for tomorrow, making their educational journey more purposeful and personally relevant. This 3-year implementation plan reflects our commitment to thoughtful, collaborative change that centers student success and recognizes the complexity of helping young people navigate their futures. Our counseling team's expertise and student relationships are essential to making this tool truly effective in supporting every learner, and their leadership throughout this process will ensure we're meeting students where they are. Thank you, and I'll entertain any questions you all might have.
Any questions on the board? I do have one. And by nature, high school counseling certainly is more career-oriented in credit monitoring and getting kids on that path. Is there still room in our counseling programs and within the counselor workday to provide individual counseling with emotional issues and small group? Is there any small group program in our secondary schools?
Yes, so I've also been working with our building principals on more of the MTSS system to make sure that we're supporting that directly within their building. I've been coming in to really focus on the career college readiness aspect, but we are definitely layering in those systems with the guidance under their building principals as well.
I'm just curious, how would this work when you have students perhaps that want to go into the technical field, certain areas, or maybe if they want to go into higher education, they want to go maybe STEM or healthcare, engineering or whatever. How will this work to help them take the right high school courses? And so when they get to college, they can kind of segue right into the college level courses.
Yep, so we're actually building those pathways right now. So an incoming ninth grader could select one of those pathways that you described, STEM, healthcare, skilled and technical sciences before their ninth grade year. Now, that's part of why we're building the sequences. So if they do select healthcare, that's actually going to bring up those healthcare courses first when they're choosing their elective courses, rather than them having to go through all of the different courses that exist in that master catalog as well. Other things that we're doing with the course sequences, if there's a student that really is college bound, they can select a sequence that would be like, for example, at Eisenhower, it could be an honors AP track, an honors college and the high school track. Again, so that they're selecting a track and it populates the courses they need for English, math, science, without them having to individually select each of those courses to meet that 24 credit requirement. We're trying to really simplify that by building those sequences for our students.
One more question, just curious, about those students who are undecided, how does this help them to kind of nail down a career or a direction or a pathway, I guess?
I think it trying to create a pathway where it's more exploratory, where they might be able to kind of explore different career pathways. I think with that advising, we just got to be very intentional with those conversations that we're having with those kids as well. So it's really about the plan that they're coming up with, not that they have to execute the plan that they choose in high school. We're giving them the tools that they need in case they do indeed change their plan beyond the Yakima School District as well. Yep.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you so much, team.
I just want to bring this all together with just one more slide. And this very important work, partnering with our community and our school counseling program for the district is so important. I just want the board to understand that we really truly see our strategic plan as our anchor. These wonderful partnerships and all the great work that's happening with our counselors is really centered around our compass and our district plan. And we understand that the current strategic plan calls for us to partner with this great community that we live in. We should not be doing this education thing all by ourselves alone. And we also understand that we can't solely just support the academics in our students' academic career and in their educational career. So really what we need to do is, we feel that these two things are great examples of us honoring our commitment to our strategic plan, our current strategic plan. And lastly, I just want to say that we had so many people from these community partnerships represented in our strategic plan refresh. So I'm really excited and proud that they contributed to the next iteration, and they will guide our work for the next 6 years in this next iteration of our plan. So that is something that our district needs to value and be excited about. And just with that, I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to offer this report. And if there are any additional questions, our team would be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you so much. Next up on our agenda, we have members of the board updates. Do we have any updates from board members? I have a couple I'd like to mention. One is May 6th in Wapato is the Washington School Director Association Area 8 regional meeting. If you're planning to attend, let Barb know and she can make a reservation for you for that, because there's a cost for the meal. Minimal, yeah. So off the top of your heads, are you anyone planning on attending that?
I think I am.
Okay. I'm going to try to, but it depends on if I get back from Kirkland in time that day. Okay, also on May 19th, there's the Washington Association of School Administrators Awards Banquet. I believe that's at the Hilton Garden Inn. And we do have some district administrators and district personnel that are being honored at that meeting or at that occasion. So again, let Barb know if you'd like to attend. Dr. Green.
Good evening, President Walker, members of the board. I'd like to take a moment to share an exciting opportunity for our students that really does reflect both strong partnerships and commitment in expanding access to high-quality learning experiences across our district. And over the past year, Hector Mendez, one of our executive directors, has worked in collaboration with the Pacific Science Center to explore ways to bring their programming to Yakima in a way that is meaningful and accessible to our students. And it's my pleasure to share with you that through a private foundation grant secured by the Pacific Science Center, they will be providing programming to the Yakima School District at no cost to us. This includes support for both our summer programming this year and the entire 2026-27 school year. And as part of the partnership, all of our elementary and middle schools will receive visits from what's called Science on Wheels. It's a program where they come to school in a vehicle and share learning, hands-on learning, engaging science experiments, and they bring an interactive STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics learning directly to our students. And it's a strong example of how we continue to leverage our partnerships across the district to enhance classroom learning and opportunities for all students to have these engaging educational experiences. So I'm, again, proud of the work of Hector Mendez and growing that opportunity for us here as a district. Other items to share with you is there is a town hall meeting for both Yakima and Toppenish. The Yakima Town Hall meeting is the legislators that will be in attendance are Representative Gloria Mendoza, Representative Deb Mangeras, Representative Chris Corey, and Representative Jeremy Dufault. That would be Monday, April 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. The location, let me see, we will get that published, but it does not, it's at the OIC Excel Youth Center here in town. So that's 1009 North 9th Avenue in Yakima. So Monday, April 27th. There is a Toppenish session, but that is not as well attended by our state legislators. And that is April 28th, of course. We're welcome to attend that also. That's Representative Gloria Mendoza and Representative Deb Banjeras. And that would be at the Astria Toppenish Hospital at 502 West 4th Avenue in Toppenish. We did, as a district in running the bond, reach the validation threshold. So that has, you may remember, or for the community, to pass a bond, there is a 60% bar of voters, but then also a 40% turnout from the previous election. So that 40% bar has been reached, and now it'll be the 60% plus one will determine whether it passes or whether it fails.
Ballots have to be in by.
Ballots are in by, Jake, 25th? 28th? Thank you, 28th. Thank you, wonderful question. Thank you for picking me up there, Jake, with that. There was a wonderful event actually at Adams Elementary. It was with Samaritan's Feet, and I believe we have some photos of this event. Was well attended. It is a partnership that provided shoes and a carrying bag for every single student at Adams Elementary. You may remember that Adams Elementary is one of our largest, it actually is our largest elementary school. So here you see the partnership with police officers that were there, the amount of shoes that were on display for the classes to come in. There they are coming through the tunnel. Fantastic things that were happening. I think you're going to see our deputy superintendent and our assistant superintendent of teaching and learning here in a moment. But one of the biggest events that I've seen of this kind, with making sure that our students have access to clothing that not everyone does, without singling out individuals because of conditions of poverty or whatnot. So it's nice that that could happen for every student and celebrate them. And again, phenomenal opportunity with a partnership. Any questions about Samaritan's Feet and the contributions thereof? I think it also was, there was one of the Bortons was heavily involved from our fruit industry in making that happen as well. Anything to add? Oh, yes. And I need to thank Hector Mendez for, again, coordinating that as well. Is Hector here? Hector, thank you. It's like, so we're mentioning Hector. So Thank you so much. You're just coming through with these partnerships right and left, and we really do appreciate that. I think the only other item that I have before I turn some time over here to a couple of other individuals on our cabinet is our YSO Yakima Symphony Orchestra partnership continues to grow. So We are exploring other options as far as opportunities for students to participate in a way that I look forward to sharing here in the near future. So this is kind of a teaser statement. That partnership continues to grow. Kudos to Sam McClung, the director of the Yakima Symphony Orchestra, has been here just a little bit over a year and done phenomenal things in our community. So we're proud of the way that we continue to see the music opportunities grow at the high school level, and continue to expect that to happen in joining with the Yakima Symphony Orchestra. I do have a quick report, PRR report, public records request from Bob Noe at the request of the board, and then a bond update from Jake Cooper, our Assistant Superintendent of Finance and many other areas. But we'll start with Bob. Mr. Noe?
Thank you, President Walker, members of the board. In your packet, you'll see our monthly report on public records requests. It'll show the last totals for the last 3 years and then the year to date for this year. And then also there's another chart that you're familiar with now that shows the time by which we're processing these requests. If you have any questions, let me know, but they're pretty self-explanatory. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper?
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Green. I'll try to be quick since we have a waiting audience. So this is just to go through some of the highlights of the last several months of bond fact work. And as noted earlier, April 28th, 2026 is Election Day. As my understanding, though, we are all mail-in ballots, and our ballots in Yakima go to Spokane first and have to come back here. So please remember that they have to go further east before they come back to town, just the way our mail is routed. And as noted earlier, we had a 40% turnout threshold, which has already been met mathematically. There's a reminder, a $200 million bond issue, biggest components, rebuild of Hoover and Garfield, and then a little over $20 million in state match. And then again, the cost not to exceed $200 million, and then repaid over 20 years with approximately 79 cents per thousand of your house value, for a total estimated tax increase on an average home of about $21 a month. Those are a few samplings of some presentations that we've been giving around the district and community. It's been really an honor. It was my third year in Yakima. It's been a great honor to start to know all the different layers and different groups around the community. And so it has been a fun presentation time for sure. Let's see. Let me answer a few FAQs. These are the ones that came in recently, and I think Barb advanced my slides. Thank you, Barb. A few things on here. There was a question about, is this the playground? Oh, there was a question about why is the playground? Whew. Okay, thank you, Barb. We're both clicking, and it's like at home when I'm battling with the channels. When would construction begin? Obviously, the bond passes, we would begin design immediately, and then like to be in the dirt another 12 months for Hoover. So right away, about a year of design and planning and permit. And then the smaller projects would run concurrently, and then Garfield would trail by 1 year. Generally, construction takes of an elementary school 12 to 14 months in duration. And then in the question about will staffing change? No, staffing follows students. So wherever the enrollment will be is the number of teachers and, of course, support staff that support the operation of the building. Why doesn't the state pay for this? That is more than $1 million question. Some states do provide construction for schools. So Wyoming is an example. You get in line and then you build a prototypical school model based on what the state funds. However, in this state, we only fund a very small portion of capital expenses. As you saw on that $200 million, about $20 million or basically covers the sales tax. Yes, we have to pay sales tax on everything we do. And so that goes back to the state government in one form or another. Then why rebuild Hoover and Garfield? Hoover was built in 1947, 6 years after Pearl Harbor. You've heard me tell this story before about iron lung treatment for polio. So that building has served our greatest generation and their students, and then several generations after that. And then Garfield, built in 1959. Sorry if you're of that vintage, but it has served multiple generations as well. And so they were all identified as the top two buildings that needed the most, had the poorest condition overall. And again, just a reminder that the district asked 20 years ago to rebuild those two same elementary schools in a bond that failed. So it is not a new concept by any means. One of the passes, yes, there'll be public input opportunities. So when you build a new building, there's also required by statute public meetings, and then there's also opportunities to give public input, particularly on how the building functions, and we will have multiple opportunities for that. The design input is somewhat driven by staff, and then of course we balance the community need with our budget and how it can be designed. And then who will be responsible for overseeing? So myself and Kyle Soptic will be the internal owner reps. And then since we have not had construction in the district of any significant magnitude, we would likely hire out third-party project management directly, which is also part of the bond measure. Anything else in here I'd like to touch upon, Barb? Why do we need, this is a common question, why do we need two new schools with trending lower enrollment? So there's two reasons you build new schools. One is for growth, and one is for the age and condition of the facility. We are not growing enrollment, we are declining enrollment. In fact, when I get to my financial report later, I'll show you that we've declined over 200 kids throughout the school year alone. And next year I'm projecting a decline of another 450 students. So we are building schools because, rebuilding schools, not building new schools. So if you do get asked why, it's because we need to replace two of our oldest buildings. Given their facility condition, we are not building for growth. We are building to replace two aged facilities. What other questions on there? Sorry, we have a lot in this slide deck. There's some renderings. I think I went through these before. Here's Hoover in its current state. And then here's a rendering of Hoover. And I skipped through Garfield just for the sake of time. But you'll notice that new elementary schools are multi-story, built with concrete and steel on the exterior for lower maintenance costs, better energy conservation. This is just a rendering. Of course, that design will likely change in some form or fashion. The bond is to pass, and we get to actual construction and public input. The playgrounds. So there was a question. Why on the line item in the bond there's $14.5 million. There was a question of why one playground is that expensive. No, it is a new playground for every elementary school. It is not for a singular playground. That would be one sweet playground for $14.5 million. So it is a new playground, and of course the fall matting, and then when you do a playground, sometimes you have to redo the drainage, etc., and then big toys as well. Okay, I think that was as quick as I could do it by just giving you some of the highlights, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
I have a question I believe might help the public a little bit as well. With declining enrollment, how does that affect course offerings?
That's a good question. So as enrollment declines, we have to make decisions on what courses are going to be offered. And every year we do that through, we allocate staff at a certain ratio. So for example, at middle schools, every 26 students generates one full-time teacher. And then, so when you adjust that for their prep period, that's an average class size in the high 20s, low 30s. And that is a standard allocation model that we have used going forward. And when enrollment declines, then a building is likely forced to focus on core content areas because there are certain things, particularly at high school, that we have to get kids to graduate. And then, of course, one of the real downsides is that then electives become less, generally speaking.
What is a ballpark figure of the reductions that you've seen, as far as not reductions, but the amount of funding that we've seen with the loss of students? Roughly how many students have we lost over what period of time, and what does that equate to financially?
So rough rule of thumb, each state, the state funding is around $10,000. When you stack on local and levy on top of that with some federal, you're almost at $18,000 a student. So it's not a direct corollary all the time, but 18,000 students. I think since I've been here, I have to look at my financial report, but between this year and next year, we'll be down close to 1,000. So you look at that's about $18 million in lost revenue over a 2-year period. So a significant amount.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Cooper? All right. Hearing none, I will conclude with my superintendent update by simply sharing that when we're talking about funding in the state of Washington, certainly you've heard this from me before, but taking advantage of this opportunity once again to share that we are not funded equally across the state of Washington. In fact, according to 2023-24 data from David Knight from the University of Washington, if our student count was funded at the same rate as the other top 24 size districts in the state of Washington, we would have a minimum of $4 million more in our coffers to provide for our students in programming. The biggest difference is 162 million. So there's quite a variation, but I can tell you out of the top 24 districts, of which Yakima is one, our probably best comparison would be Kennewick and Pasco, seeing how they're over on this side of the state. Kennewick receives an additional 4 million per student, not per student, 4 million for their student count, more than what we would receive for that same funding. And Pasco is at nearly 13 million. They're at 12,981,000. So there is a lot that we can continue to do in working with our legislature to look at something that is equitable or equal across our system, because I do believe that the general consensus across the state is that all districts are funded equally, and there's nothing further from the truth, especially when you're looking at a district like Bellevue, which has received over the last 15 years over $1 billion in funds that our district does not receive, and that's through state and local funding. So that is why actually this it's important to go to the public and make sure that we're sharing exactly where the funding is going and why. So just wanted to share that with you in lieu of having Jake share the information that he did, and open to answer any questions at this time.
Any other questions for Dr. Green?
That was billion with a B?
That was $1 billion. There are about 3 or 4 districts in the past 15 years that have over $1 billion of funding more than the Yakima School District. Bellevue's one, North Shore's another. I would imagine that Tacoma's up there. But even if you're looking at districts that are smaller, for example, Renton is smaller or about the same size as the Yakima School District. And again, this is data from David Knight, University of Washington professor, 2023-24. Renton, for the same student count, receives $127 million more than the Yakima School District. We have not had a bond to go to the public in over 15 years, which means that anytime we have an HVAC system or any issue that happens in the district, it's coming out of basic ed funding that then does impact our students. So we will continue to work with our legislators and continue to work with our colleague superintendents around the state and see what we can do. But there is a strong recognition that the funding model for public education in the state of Washington by the legislature needs to be fixed. Unfortunately, the solution is harder to reach and much more difficult to achieve than it should be. So. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the next item on the agenda is highlights for community engagement. Just that is listed in your board documents. Just check through that. There are a number of opportunities coming up for athletics. I believe both high schools have plays going on. There's some arts things going on, so check that out and attend as many as interest you and yet you can attend. Next up, we have 3 of our district teachers, Jenny Hernandez, Chad Quesnell, and Jeff McFadden, and they're going to present to us on end-of-unit assessments in our math program.
Good evening. President Walker, Superintendent Green, thank you for letting us be here and having the opportunity to speak on behalf of our teachers. I am Jennifer Hernandez. I'm a teacher at Washington Middle School.
I'm Jeff McFadden. I'm a teacher at Franklin Middle School.
Chad Quesnell, everyone. I'm at Eisenhower High School. Oh, and then it's my turn. Really appreciate the invitation to speak to you guys tonight. We really see tonight as an opportunity to be proactive with the board's request to work towards improving SBA scores, and with the implementation of our end-of-module district math assessments that has begun the end of last year and through this year. We've gathered some feedback from teachers that we want to make sure we share with you, and most importantly, provide you an opportunity to ask us questions, or maybe this conversation will spark some questions that we can take going forward as we look at implementing assessments that are not just relevant for point in time data, but also reliable over time. So thank you. Oh, no, skip on. My bad.
Is this how we do this? Can you? Yeah.
We're not good at this, guys.
We're not.
We're good in the classroom.
Give me
This
my
is not
classroom
our
in front of
wheelhouse.
students, please. Not.
our wheelhouse.
Okay, here. You
Go to
click
the
the next
next
button.
one.
Okay.
I guess I used up all my energy for the bowling stuff earlier. We also want to recognize that this is a shared commitment, right? That it's not just a board goal, right? We as teachers want to achieve these goals as well. And so you can see what we have up there, that we really value the work of assessment. We've all been teaching math for a really long time. I started adding it up, and I've either taught or supported math in the district for 23 years. So I'm invested in this work, and a lot of that time was spent building assessments. So that's part of why this is so important to me. We also want to recognize that third bullet. I just want to draw some extra attention to that. One of the things that is talked about often, but harder to implement, is vertical teaming, right? So not just looking at grade level teams and having them have the opportunity to analyze data, but what does that mean longitudinally, right? Or vertically rather, to allow teachers to look at data as it progresses with the student, and not just be reactive or look at data after we can't do anything about it with our particular group of students. So that last bullet's the most important. We believe that this is important work, and we just want to make sure that we get it right.
All right, kind of like Chad was talking, I really do want to hit on, like, we think this is a collaborative process. Teachers are not trying to say we don't want to assess. Like, teachers are saying we want to assess. Assessments are good, but let's make sure they're worthwhile and make sure they're valuable and reliable and all those other good, like, super cool words. Like, let's make sure we use our time with that. So the teachers do appreciate having common assessments across the district. They value having priority standards, so we know those things we have to focus on. However, right now, like, the math standards we're working with and the assessments we're working with, they're not entirely aligned to the SBA priority standards. So, and we know those standards are also changing again for next year. And we know this is eventually rolling out to more content areas. We know this is going to be hitting ELA trying to do this stuff this coming year. So we kind of want to make sure, like, these growing pains with us, let's make sure those kind of benefit these other content areas. This graph you guys are seeing here shows there were a lot of teachers that were invited to create them, but there were also an overwhelming number of teachers that were not invited. So most of the secondary people, middle school, high school, said they were invited. The elementary folks were the ones that were saying they weren't asked, and they felt like it was just a select group of people that were chosen to go to it. Additionally, we haven't had training for how to read the item specs. So the item specs are like a blueprint. They're like the rules for how the assessments are made. We haven't had meaningful training in those in about 8 years. So there's a lot of newer teachers, upcoming teachers, or even veteran teachers who haven't really seen that in a long time. So it's just kind of creates some uncertainty. Like, even when a teacher is being asked, like, hey, do you want to help with this assessment? Sure, but I don't even know how to read these item specs, like, effectively to do this, because either I'm new or I haven't done this stuff in a while. The assessment time adds up. Again, all of this data came from the survey that we sent out, and we got about 140 as of last time we looked. So talking to the teachers, so what we're seeing, it's not entirely about the assessments themselves, it's also about the cumulative impact when all these assessments are put together. So you get the math assessments all put together, that averages out based on what the teachers are saying. Every 6 to 9 days a student is in a math class, they're taking a test. Then when you look at the assessments across the board for all the different content areas, we're looking at every 3 to 6 days a kid is in a seat in the classroom, they're taking a test. So it just builds up some of that fatigue. And again, like I said at the beginning, teachers, we see the value in assessment. We really do. But the way it's currently being used, the teachers have to give additional assessments. Like, we give the ones we're required to give, and we have to give more in order to gauge that learning and make sure we can go back and, like, backfill some of those gaps. and to make sure we're progressing towards meeting those standards for the SBA. Next one. Sorry, I'm almost done. Impact on the teacher time. We're spending a lot of time grading tests. Teachers have spent a lot of time due to we have strict assessment windows. Like you have these days, give the test, then you have this long to put the data in. Teachers have spent a lot of time. A lot of teachers are spending a lot of time outside of contracted time. So the data we got said 70% of the teachers that are putting this stuff in is beyond the contracted day. They're doing things at home. They're doing things during their kids' practice, all sorts of things, just to make sure, because they're feeling that pressure from their principals. Like, we need this data. And while saying we do believe the assessments are important, it's just another kind of cause of more stress on those teachers. And as you'll see in a minute here from Jennifer, most of the teachers haven't received valuable feedback on the assessment data they've entered. They enter the data, and then it just goes somewhere, and then we don't talk about it again. Thank you.
So what we're hearing from teachers, the timing and pacing that are happening with these tests are misaligned with the student readiness. So the district has given a 5-day window for these assessments, and it doesn't matter if you've gotten through your curriculum or not, you're giving it in that 5 days. And teachers would like there to be a little bit of flexibility so that it's actually gauging what students know and if they're ready. This ties into PLC question number 3 and 4. If students are ready, how do we move forward? If students are not ready, how do we help them before moving it on again? But right now with the pacing guide, we as teachers, and our teachers are feeling in the survey that we have to be pushed on no matter what. We don't have time for question 3 and 4. And so the concerns about alignment to standards and our SBA priority standards. Also, since the beginning of the year, the use of SBA resources. So SBA has item specs. They have released items. They have programs that we have access to, which are free interim assessments that we could be using and we have used in past years. And like we've talked about to many teachers, no program is perfect. But we are wondering why the SBAC resources have been discouraged to be used, because from a teacher standpoint, they give a lot of practice for SBA. They are the same tools, it's the same formatting. And so getting the kids on the computer and using those tools and resources is an advantage to us. This graph does not show a percent of who wants the feedback, but the comments would support it. This graph is showing us that just under 1/4 of teachers are receiving meaningful feedback on these assessments. So we've given this assessment, we've inputted data, and then it just falls flat, unless maybe you and your PLC partner are having those conversations together. I think the hope is that several years ago when we had math TOSAs, we would sit down in data dives and we would have the opportunity to work with a grade band of teachers and look at what was the most missed question, what were the misconceptions, what was the question that was answered the most correct at this school and why, like what did you do? So we had an opportunity to learn from each other.
All right, so kind of related to that idea, one of the things that Jennifer, thank you, alluded to was that these things started to have less of a priority right about the time that we eliminated the, at that time, STEAM TOSA positions, right? So that left us with sort of a vacuum of content experts that also had the teaching experience. And so we really do want to advocate for looking for ways to bring those content experts back into in a meaningful way, if it ideally as a math TOSA, but if that's not possible, to really think about the process for developing these so that it includes those people that have the expertise and the desire, right, that they want to contribute to these assessments. The quotes you see up there are just some of the specific quotes from the feedback. You can see that teachers really want to use the data, but the way that it's structured right now, it's just impossible for them to have time to make it meaningful. One thing I want you to note about the second bullet up there is, and I mentioned this when I spoke earlier, we need to decide if it's a point in time assessment or a true end of unit assessment, because if we're testing students that haven't learned it yet, and then also testing students that are done with that instruction and have had the instruction, and then we put those two pieces of data together, that's difficult, right? Because we can't tell which student is in which place in the instructional cycle at that point. So I think that piece is really important. You can see a couple of the other quotes up there, that there's also a significant amount of time in not just recording the data, but building the assessments. So if you have some of those dedicated math experts, TOSAs, that can take some of that work off the teachers' plates, that can be really valuable, because they're doing that work while teachers are able to then engage in instruction and not have to be spending time building these resources. We did talk about the SBA resources, and I just want to reiterate that, right? That let's decide on the tools that we want to use and the platform, because I think that's also an issue sometimes, right? If we don't have a platform that supports the data that we want to gather, then it can be so tedious and really difficult to gather the data and use it. So I just want us to think in that respect, and think about, again, that this work, there were other reasons about 5-6 years ago that this happened too, right? We had a lot going on at that time. All right, thank you.
So opportunities to strengthen this. Like I said, we want this to be collaborative. We really do. So based on the data we've gotten, teachers, some of their suggestions is increased flexibility with those windows and those timelines and ways we can get that stuff put in. A streamlined data entry process to just kind of make it a little bit easier, so the teachers aren't having to do a really big lift of just putting in numbers and that data. And then also determine a common and consistent plan platform, kind of like Chad was talking about. Some schools are using pencil and paper, some are using Canvas, some are using different apps through Clever, some are doing the SBA things outside of the other assessments. Some schools have their own apps they bought just to do the assessments, but it's not the same everywhere. So those are a few of the things that we're looking for.
We would like to ensure that the alignment of the new math standards and the current standards are aligned. The last time we looked at this as a whole district was under different leadership, when there was a different teacher, T&L director, and the priorities have changed from the board, the district, the teachers, different groups of people. So we would like to make sure that those are aligned.
We also want to make sure that we keep teachers at the forefront, right? Like getting their input in the process is so critical, because they are the ones that are in front of the students doing the instruction all day long. So we want to make sure that they're at the forefront of this. We also want to, where possible, look at the assessments that we either already give or will be intending to add, to see if there's ways to combine or align those assessments to reduce that. You heard some numbers earlier, right, about how much time we're spending assessing. And so any way that we can either align or make that process more efficient will be better. And the last bullet there, I'm not going to talk about, since I talked about the TOSA work before. Oh, okay.
We have some questions that we would love the board to consider and get back to us at an opportunity that is available to you guys. These are 4 of the post questions that we are asked often from teachers. Do you have anything you want to add to that? Okay.
So I just want to say we do really want this to be a collaborative process. We're not here to complain. We're not here to whine. We're not here to say teachers don't want to do this. Teachers want to do it. We just want to make sure we're using our time as effectively as possible. We'd love an opportunity if you guys wanted to sit down, invite us, sit down, have some more conversations. More than willing to do that. And if you'd like more teachers to come in that process, just let us know.
Or to see what it looks like.
Or to see what it looks like. Any questions at all, reach out to us. We really are. And we do have a handful of teachers that are interested in coming and chat with any of you guys.
One final thought, and the reason that we had that slide there at the end is that we know that this work doesn't necessarily receive funding through the bond, for example. It's a different pot of funds. However, we understand that passing the bond will help to take pressure off of the budgets that do help us to do this work. And so we're really hoping that we have that opportunity. Thank you for your time.
So please vote.
Please vote.
Please vote.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Next up, we have our monthly financial update from Mr. Cooper.
Back again. Members of the board, Superintendent Green. Before I begin, I just want to reflect on how far the district has come when it comes to talking about data and assessments. If you asked me 3 or 4 years ago when I arrived, I came from a data-obsessed district, that we would be talking about assessments and classroom-based assessments and how to align things, I would have said, no way. So kudos to the teachers and teaching and learning. We'll find that sweet spot eventually, but it can be kind of difficult as you start to ramp up things. So I know that's not my bailiwick, but I have an opinion on most things. So, first off, is this the right month, Barb? Hold on. February, I need a March. It's all right. I'll give you the annotated version while we change months. So from March, we'll talk about is as you can see, it's a budget month. So we are finalizing our budget plans as we go forward. I did want to say that given where we're currently at now, we will not be doing a certificate of reduction in force as we move into the spring. So that's good news. We will get a reprieve from that. HR and finance have been working along with everybody else diligently to make sure we have a spot for all our certificated staff, giving our funding. So that's good news as we begin. Additionally, the bad news, though, however, is since October 1st, our enrollment has declined by 235 students mid-year. Now we're cooking with gas, Barb. It's all right. I can almost read that far away. Would you make it a little bigger and I can do it that way? Thank you. So as noted, 235 students mid-year decline in enrollment, which is an anomaly. Go ahead, next one. That is our, okay. I know, it's not after 9 o'clock, you'll see. There we go. Thank you. No worries. So there's our enrollment trend. I will show it graphically though. As you can see, there is an anomaly this year. So as you go top to bottom, you can see our enrollment declining from 15,400 in 2021-22 in October to 14,755. And then we've dropped another, as you can see, usually our enrollment kind of flattens out, but we are seeing decline enrollment throughout the fiscal year. So there is positive news on the cash flow, but that will start to head back towards my projections as we lose revenue. Remember, we get revenue over a 12-month period and we have 10 enrollment counts. So that average will start to catch up to us. So 2.4 million on the state side. And if you add local levy, a little more than that, 4 or 5 million. So enrollment currently about 300 below projection. We talked about there's cash. I'll remind you know that my same words apply every meeting. Cash is king. No matter what happens, I've seen boards all around the state. They get fancy reports from their CFOs and they talk about everything but cash. But cash is where it's at. So as you can see, projected cash is in the green. Our cash right now is $4.5 million above projection. As I noted earlier, though, that enrollment decline is going to move that cash back towards projection and will likely end very close to where I project there in August. Budget to actuals. You can see the blue bar is current year as we move forward. And then the black bar is the budget next to it. So in most months we are at or slightly below our projected revenue. There's the expenditure budget in total. Roughly 20 million in payroll a month with a couple million on top for accounts payable for materials, supplies, and operating costs. So as you can see, my job is to have boring financial picture. I'm not boring, but it is boring, hopefully. Stable, able. Slightly below projection is what you want on the expenditure side. Then MSOX, which is material, supplies, and operating costs. A little harder to trend, but still you can see the teal bar versus the black bar. We are below the monthly projections on that spending. And of course, I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Jake?
Do we know why we have an anomaly in our student enrollment? That drop in January and then again in February?
We have seen some pressures from, I believe, immigration enforcement. Also, we're seeing family relocation for a lot of reasons. Some of it is in country, so we have a lot of folks moving back to California as an example. So I would say it's a mixed bag. We will see going forward. As you know, most of our enrollment decline has been predicated upon lower birth rates. And so every year, as I say, if we're 300 below our peak, over 2 years, we lose an Adams Elementary School around 600. So that will ripple through the system eventually, and we'll settle out at a lower enrollment number that we are in now. But I would say this year it's a mixed bag, and it is an anomaly. And as I discussed last time, we did overlay that using some AI models with some past deportation actions under the Obama administration. But so it's not completely anomalous based on our past, but then again, it's a different world as well. And we also, it's interesting, I had a conversation with somebody today, is given the border tighter control, we might not be seeing the infill of migrant workers as they move south to north that we would normally see. And so that could be some of the issues, and that was an interesting conversation with them as well. So there's lots of reasons, I believe, Martha, birth rate being one, and interesting human migration patterns being the other.
Do we have a sense as to whether or not families are actually leaving versus families are keeping their kids at home?
I would say most of it's relocation. We have seen some movement to online instead of staying home. And so it is hard for us to tell. We often don't get one key signal to us is when we get a request for records from a receiving school, and sometimes that can take a lengthy time period. And so until we get that request for records, if the family does not communicate with us on their intentions, then we're really left in the dark.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Jake. We have arrived at our first opportunity for comments from the public, and this is on agenda items only. Do we have anyone that wishes to comment on agenda items?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to consent agenda, we have approval of minutes from prior meeting, notification of approval of warrants for March, approval of personnel actions, the budget status report for March, and the interlocal agreement. Is there any item in the consent agenda that anyone would like to see removed and discussed? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the April 21st consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next up, we have approval of resolution number 0.6.25.26, delegation of authority to WIAA. This is a standard yearly practice, I believe.
It is. Thank you, President Walker. And you will find in the public content information uploaded, we have the WIAA School Board form and then the resolution action letter. This is something that is due annually by the second Friday in June. And it is delegating authority to the Washington Interscholastic Athletic Association, of which we are a part. And if you go to the actual, I'm trying to find it here, if we go to the resolution letter, the requested motion is to approve resolution number 0625.25.26, which does delegate authority to WIAA. This is, as you stated, a yearly practice. Are there any questions before the requested motion goes before the board?
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Move to approve resolution 06.25.26, delegating authority to WIAA.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve 0.6.25.26. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We've now arrived at our second opportunity for comments from the public. I believe we have Okay. I think we will take, since we have a number of students involved and you probably have homework and need to get to sleep early, we'll take our students from Lewis and Clark. And so there are several of you. If you find that, I'm going to suggest if you find that someone has repeated maybe a few times something that you wanted to say exactly, you can choose to pass if you want. But we have quite a long list here. So we'll start with Samuel Garduno, Lewis and Clark.
Hi, my name is Samuel Garduno Ayala. I attend at Lewis and Clark Middle School, and I am here to speak about the music programs at Lewis and Clark and Franklin Middle Schools. These programs are important to so many students. Both schools recently earned superior ratings at competitions, which shows how strong and successful they are. Cutting these programs would hurt students. Beginning band already has over 100 students joining, and reducing support will make it harder for them to learn and succeed. Having Mrs. Beam as my teacher for 3 years is something I'll never forget, and I want my younger brother, who plans to join next year, to have the same experience. Music gives students a place to belong, and I ask you to please continue supporting these programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Daphne Thayer. Is the mic on? Is you okay?
I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Hi, my name is Daphne. I'm in the 8th grade and I go to Lewis and Clark Middle School. When I started band in the 6th grade, I never had any idea how much it would affect me in life, but over time it became something I depended on. No matter how bad my day was, when I step foot into that band room, it feels like I'm stepping into a new world. This world feels like weights are being lifted off my shoulders and I'm finally able to be myself. But what truly touched my heart was how the band program wasn't just about music, it's about the people who share a passion just like you, people who are showing kindness to everyone around them, people who are willing to work together and help each other learn and grow together. I know when I'm in that room, I'm never alone, but if someone were to ask me what's the best part about band, I would say my director, Miss Beam. She's the definition of a great teacher. She listens, she cares, and she notices when things are going on, and she makes sure you guys have a good relationship. During the hardest times of my life where I thought I would never be anything good in life or have a future, Miss Beam was always there for me when everybody shut me out. She helped me not only grow as a musician, but she also helped me grow as a person. When I struggled, Miss Beam always gave me encouragement, and when I needed help on learning certain phrases, notes, or even rhythm, she taught me how and gave me time to understand. She always had faith in me. Sometimes I would have deep conversations with her about problems in my life, and she actually saw me and tried her hardest to understand, and she gave me motivation to not give up in life. Because of her, I learned discipline, resilience, and determination. Even though it's my last year here at Lewis and Clark, I need to help Miss Beam in any way I can. Threatening to take away some classes for the music program doesn't only affect future musicians, it also affects the high schools. If you were to take away Mr. Beam and his percussion class, I know for a fact future percussionists wouldn't have the same skill set as they do now. Mr. Beam has been a teacher at Lewis and Clark for 2 years now. Everyone who has been taught by him is beyond high school level, and some 6th graders are already playing hard rudiments and playing beyond 8th grade level. Another thing is almost 140 kids signed up for band next year, and you guys are talking about taking away a beginning band class, and you expect to have one teacher teach almost 140 kids, including some kids who signed up for percussion, in one period with one teacher, and that amount of kids. And with that amount of kids, no one will get their proper education in music, and the Lewis and Clark band reputation will crumble. After everything I've said, please take this into consideration, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Galilee Badillo.
Hello, I'm Galilea Montes Badillo. I'm currently in beginning band. Next year, I'm going to be in intermediate band. Aren't we supposed to be in the future? Our band and orchestra, also percussion team, also should be invested how just how sports are. We all learn differently. I'm someone who learns one-on-one. How is Mrs. Beam going to focus on everyone else? I've wanted to say the Beams are only teachers. They are my school parents. I'm going to share a little something about me back in January 2026. I went through suicidal thoughts when no one such as principal, school counselors, or teacher therapist, the orchestra room or the band room is my escape from the real world. Thank you.
Thank you. Karma Naveen?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm thankful to be here and to see so many people show up tonight to talk about the music programs. We all care about our kids and we care about being heard and we care about solutions that work. My name is Karma and I'm a mother to a 7th grader at Franklin Middle School who has been in band with Mr. Patillo since 6th grade. I never thought I would be a band mom, but I have come to love hearing her practice her saxophone. She is very dedicated and this is one thing that she doesn't have to ask to do. She does it on her own daily and she gets better and better. Now, I never thought I would need to come to a school board meeting to ask for someone to listen to us about how important jazz is to our kids. I thought it was pretty evident, but I'm teaching my kids to stand up for what they think is right, and mine has been saying that she won't have the option to play jazz next year because Mr. Patillo is being given an impossible choice. Cut jazz or put 90 kids in one beginner class. As it is now, after beginner's band, kids get funneled into jazz, honors, or intermediate. In my understanding, it's the students who have not developed the skills for jazz or honors that go into intermediate, and I'm not sure why we would entertain mediocrity over opportunities for more skilled players. No child left behind, impossible choices. We have more students than we know what to do with. And that's why it's not any one teacher's fault. And we need solutions that create opportunities. We need to listen to our teachers and students. Mr. Patillo has been at Franklin for 10 years. And this issue is not about his class. It's about overextending teachers, overfilling schools, and money, which are always going to be issues. We need to keep good teachers, keep good classes, hire more teachers, and less administration. We need to be responsible with decision making and how the money is used. We should encourage dialogue in decision making. We are all here because we care about this community, and when kids have opportunities to develop their skills, they have an outlet of creative expression. They enjoy their childhood. They come back to their communities and want their kids to experience that too. If we keep thinking about the money, which will always be a problem with endless solutions, if we make the wrong choices, we will produce children who are complacent and ill-contributing members of their communities, or they'll leave and not come back. Commenters on a social media post inviting people to this meeting said jazz band is the best thing to happen to school music programs anywhere and everywhere. And another said music is math, music is art, music is joy. Music is what keeps many kids going to school. So yes, this is a community issue, and we're not just parents, but the people who pay for these decisions, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Savannah Flinkfett?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, hello, my name is Savannah and I have been in Mr. Patillo's band class at Franklin Middle School for 6th and 7th grade. I started off playing the clarinet in the beginning band and now I play the alto saxophone for the jazz band. I'm here to support our Franklin music program because it's given me and many other students endless opportunities to express our love for music and represent our school. I am also here today because our music teachers and students in the music program shouldn't be scared to speak up about what's right and wrong. To my knowledge, our teacher, Mr. Patillo, is being forced to choose to cut a class, our jazz program, or cut one of the beginning bands, squishing up to 90 students into one class. This is an issue for many reasons. One prime example is if we cut our jazz band, our high schools will be impacted, but mostly Eisenhower. This is because Washington Middle School also has a jazz band, which most of their students go to Davis, but they aren't making any cuts. Eisenhower, which is the school I plan to attend, will see their jazz programs fade out in the next couple of years if this change happens. Another example is if we put 90 students into one beginning band, not only is it overcrowded, But our band teacher will have to teach woodwinds, percussion, and brass all at once. This means nobody will get enough attention to perfect their skills on their instruments, affecting upcoming years in the band program. We shouldn't limit opportunities that me and my bandmates have to the future of Franklin's band. My school's jazz program also has great accomplishments, and one of those accomplishments is being the only middle school in all of Yakima School District to attend Lionel Hampton's Jazz Festival at University of Idaho. I am really proud to be a Franklin band student, but I am extremely disappointed in my school's choices.
Thank you. Anna Rodriguez.
Good evening. My name is Anna. I am a mom of not one, but two Lewis and Clark band students that are here with me today. Today I'm here not just as a parent, but as someone who has seen firsthand what this band program does for kids, my kids included. Band is so much more than music. It's discipline, it's teamwork, it's confidence. It's a place where students who might not always feel seen or heard have a family. We live in a world where kids are constantly being pulled in different directions. Band gives them structure. It teaches them commitment, showing up, practicing, improving little by little. Those are life skills that go far beyond the band room. You can't measure that on a test score, but you can see it in how they carry themselves and how they always win first place at contests. For some students, band is only the reason that they stay engaged in school at all. It's their safe place. It's where they build friendships, learn accountability, and feel like they belong. Taking that away doesn't just remove a class, it removes their anchor. Well, let's talk about the bigger picture. When you cut programs like this, you're not just saving money, you're losing something that makes your school feel like more than just a building. We understand that budgets are tight and decisions like this aren't easy, but I ask you to consider what the true cost is. Cutting band might balance your numbers on a piece of paper, but it takes away opportunity for growth and a sense of purpose for so many kids. We need to hold the district accountable for spending the funds on items that aren't necessary. You are removing teachers and opening positions for the district office that cost a lot more money than teaching does. I hope this opens up a new conversation for a change, and thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Sarah Glasscock.
Hi, I am a parent of a Franklin Middle School band student who's now at Davis. And I wanted to talk about what these band programs are doing for our kids besides just the music. We are a school district that has a lot of children that are going to be scoring high in the adverse childhood events test. And these music programs are a big way to help them overcome those scores and develop more resilience. We know that one adult in a child's life can make all the difference in the world for them. And I've seen these kids with Mr. Patella at Franklin. I've seen these kids with Martin Obrero at Washington, and they connect with those teachers. And the other thing that we have with these band programs is we have people who are seeing these kids every day for 3 years straight. And a lot of these middle school band teachers are involved with the high school band program. So if, like, we can talk about counseling, mental health, whatever. If we have one teacher that knows these students that well, they're the first ones that are going to know if something's going wrong with them. These band teachers are going to know if a child is doing differently. I don't understand why we would take that away. Yakima School District has also developed a really good reputation for their music programs outside of this community. I went with Franklin last year to the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival, which is the largest jazz festival west of the Mississippi. Our Franklin Middle School Jazz Band bested private schools, private performing arts schools, schools that have much greater funding, that are putting a lot of money into their performing arts programs. And Davis did also. I had people that from other parts of my life years ago text me, message me through Facebook that saying, hey, what are you putting in the water in Yakima? Because our music programs are so successful. And to have 2 schools do that well at the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival really is something. It doesn't make sense to me to be cutting such successful programs. What do teachers need to do besides be successful? Like, I'm telling you, these programs are keeping kids engaged and they're saving kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this Myra Badillo?
Good evening. We know that Mr. Beam's position is being eliminated. This is going to have a huge impact on our LC concerts and marching bands. Under percussions, we're asking you to reconsider this situation and keep both music teachers at LC. We know that there are over 100 students who tried out instruments last week and want to join orchestra or band. Out of these 100 students, over 20 students wanted percussions. Right now, there's only 1 period beginning band. Being offered next year, there needs to be 2 periods for beginning band. If there's only 2 periods, the counselors and administrations at LC will take away another class, which most likely will be intermediate band. That isn't fair for the LC students who aren't ready for advanced music groups. That would be like having a student in 6th grade math, sending them to algebra. There should be a music class that meets ability levels for all students. Please consider bringing back intermediate orchestra, which was eliminated this year, and keeping intermediate band. This would mean that there would need 2 music directors at LC. All other middle schools have 2 staff members. We believe that Lewis and Clark deserves the same.
Thank you. Eswe Dominguez? I can't quite read this. Did I say your name properly?
Esme.
Esme, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, school board and Dr. Green. My name is Esmeralda Dominguez. I am a 7th grader at Lewis and Clark Middle School. I'm here to speak about the staffing cuts and how they are affecting the music program. When I was in 6th grade, I was in beginning orchestra with Mr. Beam. He pushed us to do our best, but also have patience with us as beginners. By the end of the year, I auditioned and made it into intermediate orchestra for this school year. But later we found out that intermediate orchestra was no longer being offered. That left students like me with only 2 options: repeat beginning orchestra or move on to advanced. I chose advanced, but when I started, I felt completely overwhelmed. The expectations were much higher, and I didn't feel prepared. There was times where I honestly wanted to quit and just stop playing violin. But with extra help from both Mr. and Mrs. Beam after school, I was able to improve my learning from music and be a part of a great performance at Christmas and contest concerts. Even though I made it through, not every student will be willing to take what I took. Taking away intermediate orchestra puts students in a position where they either feel bored repeating a class or overwhelmed moving ahead too fast. Also, Mrs. Beam has only 1 period for beginning band, and it will have over 100 students that are interested to be in beginning band. That's too many students for 1 class. One teacher cannot teach band, but that would mean losing intermediate band as well. This creates the same problem. Students don't get the support they need before moving forward. In other subjects like math, students are based on their level and learning pace. They aren't forced into advanced class if they're not ready. Music students deserve the same opportunity. I'm asking the school board to keep both music positions at Lewis and Clark and bring back intermediate orchestra. This will allow students to grow at a pace that works for them, feel more confident, and stay involved in music. Music isn't just a class. It's something that helps students build confidence, major stress, and feel connected to everyone and everything. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Francisco Gil.
Hi, my name is Francisco Gil and I go to Lewis and Clark Middle School. Joining band was the best thing of my life. It gave me so many friends and I've learned so much while I was in there. I've learned a lot of band, even with Ms. Beam there. She's taught me a lot on how to play my instrument, which is the tuba. Tuba is one of the biggest instruments, which is one of the hardest, but it's the easiest one that I know. But Ms. Beams taught me a lot throughout the years. I am in 7th grade. She's taught me a lot since I was in 6th. I had a lot of thoughts of quitting, but I didn't because she's taught me to not quit and to not give up and to keep going. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Roman Alexander Pot.
Hello, my name is Roman Parr. I'm a student from Lewis and Clark Middle School. I'm here today to talk about Miss Beam and what she has done for music program and who she is to us and why she should not be let go. One of the things I would really like to point out before I start my speech, it may be different from the rest, but points out how because of Miss Beam, kids have friends and how generations of different kids have been taught from her, the future and new band kids to be taught. Miss Beam is an amazing teacher. She is wonderful. She cares for all of us, listens to our problems, and just not a teacher to us, she's a motherly figure. Not just to me, but to many other kids graduated or in middle school. She's helped us from day one of band. She supported us, our life choices in sports and in learning. She loves us all in band. She pushes us to our potential and teaches us to reach our limits. She taught us for our future in band, of what we need to do and how to act. She's taught us from how to play B-flat scales to reading and memorizing music with ease. She taught us she's taught skills, helped everybody. She's the reason I want to go to school and want to stay in band. She's the reason why I'm happy to be there. She listens to our problems and helps us. She cries with us. For me, in the past, helped me when I wanted to kill myself because of problems where I was at, but she has helped and has cared for me and many other kids. Okay, I want to keep living and keep going in band for the future. She's the best teacher who I've met. She's always been the best teacher at LC because of her teaching. We're set for high school and much more for what path we take because of her and the heart. She's great. Out of my 3 years at LC, she's made it a lot easier for all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Rachel Dorn.
Hi, Rachel Dorn. My daughter Allison is a senior at Davis, so we're trying to rep the high schools here. She is graduating this year. She has a music scholarship for a 4-year school for next year. Her percussion ensemble at Davis is a state champion percussion last year, and they have solo and ensemble next week. They were also guest performers at WMEA conference this year. Band, and I did check all of this with her, so she's right over there. Band has been one of her best Yakima School District experiences, bar none. Some kids, she just told me, some kids would drop out if they didn't have the opportunity for band, and you've heard from these amazing middle school kids. They have an award-winning marching band, as do the rivals over there at Ike. This year, the band had 200 kids involved. So many middle school teachers are techs for the band for Davis that makes it such a good experience. Dr. Lucero, knows, she was on a band trip to New York. These are impressive students. These are leaders. These are the leaders of the school. I mean, the entire homecoming court was all band kids this year. Allison, my kid, is supported by her 4 years at Franklin. No, she didn't fail. She started in 5th grade. I'm actually surprised, she did 5th grade. They would go over an hour early. She did, and then of course it was during the pandemic as well, which is an interesting challenge. She did jazz band and percussion, but percussion wasn't a standalone class. At the time, having a standalone percussion class has been a huge thing because, as some of our middle school students have mentioned, one teacher trying to handle so many different instruments is just a wild ask for them to do. And they do it, but when they can have that closer one-on-one time, the kids get so much more out of it. They're dealing with the different instruments, but different types of instruments, not even just different instruments, hitting instruments and blowing, It's also a safety issue. They're talking about 90 students in a class. I mean, Davis has, basically 3 different classes that the marching band is divided between, plus some of the color guard and stuff. The teachers and programs that we have at these programs, as you've heard, as you've got to be aware, these are widely recognized programs, incredibly high quality instructors, and we want to keep them. But I fear that if we can't keep the instructors employed, we risk, by not showing them the support for their program and allowing them to do their best by giving them that support, we risk losing these folks. And Yakima School District music programs are so good, we can't risk losing these folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Fuentes.
Hello, good night, I guess. All right, so I am a former YSD student. I did go to Franklin. I did do orchestra there. I do have a high school student who is at Davis that does band. He was a former LC student, and I do have a elementary student that isn't decided what middle school he will go to yet, but come to find out on social media that there is a problem with future band. I feel like music is like a vital role in child development, and cutting these programs limits the students who can participate. Music program middle school teaches them the fundamentals when they get to high school. So if you're cutting jazz, percussion, like anything, essentially once they get to high school, there's this big gap, right? So in the YSD Facebook, I saw that it was highlighted how Davis hosted a 24 ensemble for the YMEA, and they earned superior ratings and excellence. There's also musicals going on that consist of students who do music, orchestra, and band. So my concern as a parent and having a future child, like a child that's wanting to do band because he wants to be like his brother, is how is cutting things before they even develop those like fundamentals. Like if they get to high school and they don't know how to play, how do those high school teachers backtrack? And like ratings are gonna go down, like are they gonna have really bad scores? So, and then also like if classes are getting cut, what kids are decided that get to go into these classes? Like what is it really based on? Because if there's more interest and not enough teachers to support these activities, like who is gonna decide that what kids gets to go in and what kid doesn't? So I hope you guys can consider this, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. It looks like Greg Nielsen or Nelson.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lewis Nelson. I'm a sophomore at Davis, and I attended Franklin Middle School 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. The Franklin Band program did exceptionally well in preparing me for high school. It introduced me to a passion for music and jazz that makes me excited to come to school every day when nothing else does. This program provided me with the opportunity to experience some of the most impactful moments and find success through competitions and even everyday rehearsals with Davis Jazz One. This has given me the confidence to stand here today and share my beliefs, all of which I'm confident would not be true without jazz band at Franklin. It breaks my heart that students who come after me are being denied some of the opportunities that have been so meaningful to me. You have a picture of the marching band behind you, but if you really want to help the kids, you can do that today by supporting the foundation of these programs. Cutting the programs, whether it be at LC, whether it be intermediate band, percussion, or jazz band, would severely hinder every student, undermining crucial support that each level of student requires and diminish the success of these great programs in our valley. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Julissa Gomez.
Good evening, and I'd like to discuss what may be the positive effects of keeping these programs in these schools. Exploratory activities, especially band, offer opportunities for students to learn the values of teamwork, individual and group responsibility, endurance, competition, diversity, and a sense of culture. Research examines the relationship between musical participation and student engagement in school using data from 1992 public school students in the National Education Longitudinal Study. Explores the availability of these activities vary according to school characteristics. Indicators of successful participation in school include consistent attendance, academic achievement, and aspirations for continued education beyond high school. These activities provide a channel for reinforcing the lessons learned in the classroom, offering students the opportunity to apply academic skills in a real-world context. Thus are considered a part of well-rounded education. If indeed participation in these activities can lead to success in school, then the availability of these activities to students of all backgrounds becomes an important equity issue. As someone who is able to enjoy the opportunity of participating in band all 3 years of middle school, at Franklin, I can attest this was my favorite and most effective form of creative engagement. This improved my academic performance, and as someone who frequently scored above state average test scores in mathematics, English, and science, I can say that most of my academic engagement was tied to being part of band. Class period I looked forward to the most kept me attending classes punctually and consistently. I just hope that the same individuals who shook my hand for outstanding state assessment scores aren't the same ones who read the very tools that helped me achieve such results. Thank you.
Thank you. Julia Gomez. Okay, Athena Tamburillo.
Hello. I would first like to apologize for the lack of structure for my comment today. But I'm not from the YSD. I attended West Valley School District, and I'm a former band kid. I did band from 6th grade all the way to high school, and I'm still currently in band. I play at YVC Jazz. So I would just like to highlight some of the life skills that being in band teaches you. Things that aren't necessarily restricted to being in a band or like being part of a rehearsal. Like being in band teaches you to be a good listener. You're being taught, is my part this more important than theirs? Should I be louder here? Should I be quieter here? You're being taught to listen to others, to see when your voice is important, when theirs is more important. And that's a skill that extends past beyond the band room, beyond the classroom. It's a life skill. Another skill would be finding your own voice is something that I developed being in band all these years. Is you discover that your voice is important, that your part is important, that you gain a sense of independency, you gain a sense of having your own voice, which is important not just in school, but for your life beyond, advocating for yourself, speaking for yourself, and knowing that your ideas, that your voice is important. So I would just like to rehash the fact that the skills these kids are developing in band, regardless of if they stay in band in high school or not, they're skills that they carry with them past high school in their adult lives, in their other classes. These skills help them to be more successful academically, more socially. And these are important skills for these kids to have. So yeah, I would just like to summarize that. And band teaches you important skills regardless of if you stay in band your whole life or not. Thank you.
Thank you. I also have Lewis Nelson. Didn't we hear from Lewis already? Okay, is it a different Lewis? Okay. Maybe he signed up twice to make sure he got on. Okay, that concludes the students and parents regarding music program. First of all, I'd like to commend the students for coming and presenting tonight. It takes a lot of courage to get up in front of the school board. And that's also evidence of the benefits of performing, because it makes you more comfortable getting up in front of a group of people and sharing your soul or sharing your skills. So again, I deeply appreciate your comments this evening. We have one final commenter, Steve McKenna. Okay. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have two policy governance issues. 1000.2.1, treatment of students and their parents and guardians, and 1002.2, working environment. Both of these are reports from, my computer just died, but these are reports, and then I believe we'll do a survey monkey on the results of that. So,
Mr. Cooper?
So brevity will be my friend as per usual. So this report, okay, there was some laughter. Thanks, Mike.
Cash is king.
Cash is king. This report is provided to you annually. It has been updated with new facts and figures. It is in compliance. Just briefly, it goes over security of student data, how we use free and reduced lunch information, immunizations and compliance thereof, securing of data overall. There's a clear articulation of services and rights to parents embedded within, avenues for appeal, and then we also highlight a language appropriate environment, particularly in our dual language offerings out to the community and within the schools. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them.
any questions from the board? Okay, thank you. Do we want to, I'll entertain a motion. No, we don't do a motion. All we do is. Yeah, we'll do the survey monkey on this, that's all. Okay, so moving on to the next item, 1002.2, Dr. Green.
All right, thank you. It is 1000.2.2, which is working environment of staff. This normally would be presented by the deputy superintendent, but she's out. So I will go ahead and just share that according to the ratings, the superintendent, speaking in the third person here, is in compliance across all sections. Things that I would like to highlight is that the interpretation of the policy is that with respect to the treatment of paid and volunteer staff, I'm committed to maintaining a work environment that is safe, healthy, dignified, lawful, equitable, and unbiased. And this obligation extends beyond the mere staff satisfaction. It's a mandate to protect the fundamental rights of all personnel. Compliance is defined by a systemic prevention of reasonably foreseeable physical and social emotional harm and the proactive coercion of any prohibited conditions through established rules and industry standards. Evidence of compliance is provided in several sections of which you've had access. Just highlighting certain things from aligning all personnel actions with negotiated labor agreements and professional standards to having volunteers and employees pass criminal background screening, staff completed comprehensive modules on mandatory reporting, bloodborne pathogens, and OP 5253, as well as effective handling of grievances and emergency response plans are some of the components of this monitoring report. And I'll leave it with you at this point.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, thank you. We'll await those surveys. And they'll be due back by the 30th. Okay, thank you. That concludes our agenda for the evening. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Okay, that not said, meeting adjourned.